Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast live. I am Dustin Marion. He is Hollow Clutch. Welcome back and thank you for tuning in. What's up, H? How you doing?
What's going on, my guy? It's good. It's been a fun-filled week. Just when you think 2020 is has been full with surprises and pandemics, we have other things on our hands.
Bro, it's almost like they're going hard in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like 2020 is trying to be like the Kansas City Chiefs of a season.
It's like the 2-minute drill. They just pack everything in there.
That's it. I mean, it's going down to the wire. I can't believe stories with such power just keep popping. Like, I mean, shit, between all the social medias, there's something juicy every day.
It feels like it's every second.
Yeah. So speaking about news trying to go in hard, Shia LaBeouf's ex, FKA Twigs, which is a crazy name, comes out and is suing Mr. Buff for abuse and apparently affecting her with an STD. So it's like these dudes are still not learning from this Me Too shit.
Well, I was reading up on it, and it's like he abused his ex-girlfriend as well. So like before her, he was abusing supposedly a shorty that she's came out that he was in a relationship with her for 10 years. So he was like, she didn't come out until now, until this girl came out. And then this happened 2 years ago and she's coming out now. So like when the Me Too movement was popping off, like 2016 is when like everybody's supposed to come out at that time, like, and he admitted to it in the statement, saying, he is abusive to the people around him, and he's hurt people, and there's nothing else he could say with his alcoholism and his aggressiveness, and they need to do, like, we're moving into 2021, and like I want women to know that they have enough support now that they have to start doing this shit next day when these things are going on and happening and these occurrences are happening, as opposed to doing it 2 and 3 years later. Not saying giving a time limit on something that has happened in the past should stay in the past, but like you have like a lot of women coming out 3 or 4 years, 5 years later, and like disrupting lives kind of thing. Even though like even they've probably been going through torment themselves, but I think there's enough support now where people are going to see right is right and wrong is wrong, and they need to come out sooner rather than later.
I feel you, but in my opinion, I don't know, man. I think it's very hard. I think that, we've mentioned it a lot of times on the show. Due to COVID, there's more domestic violence, and I think that, not only is there fear, but there's kind of like a trapping mechanism in their mind that kind of keeps them there, and they go over time. And so it might be hard to come right out of the gate. Also, too, I think it's different when it's like maybe your uncle or relative or something like that, or maybe someone that it's a little easier. I think, like, I'm not saying Shia LaBeouf is a megastar, but this is also the guy that was in Transformers, right? And I bet you a lot of these guys are like so ego heavy that they're gonna say something like, "Yo, you go against me, I'm gonna murder your career. You won't survive this. You won't blah 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 blah." Because I know when guys get in arguments, they take shots. I agree with you that they should come forward, not as early as it happens, but try to
in a timely manner,
get confident, know that there's things going on. But I still think that it's hard, bro. It's hard because I think some people maybe blame themselves in the beginning. Because I've met women that they talk about it and they're like, yeah, they've been in abusive relationships, and they out of their own mouth, they've said crazy shit like, I deserved it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So so maybe it just takes time, is what I'm saying. So I don't think there has to be a specific rush time. I just think that right now, if you're a celebrity, you should be walking on eggshells a little bit, and you should be treating women with respect and not, I mean, we're not in the 1950s anymore.
Not at all. Not at all. That's what I'm saying. Like when, like she's bringing up things from 2018, 2019. The Me Too movement kind of started end of 2015, beginning of 2016 is when like the Me Too movement was heavy. And, like 2018, 2019, she could have said something. Not 2020 December going into 2021 is what I'm saying. not condoning what he did. I'm just saying like she's not like I don't know who she is, but according to the article, like she's an acclaimed artist, so she's not like no slouch either on her end. It's like she has like a fan base. She has people. She's an adult too, so she's not like a kid where like she's gonna be not gonna be traumatized, but like she's a woman. She's 32 years old, like 30 years old. Like she should have been able to, but like yo, fam, I'm calling the cops right now. We need to get this situated, under control, and you need to get yourself checked in somewhere. Not end of 2020, going to 2021, end of a pandemic, and maybe she had a realization last night or last week, and it's just popped up. That's what I'm saying. Like we could get these guys if we get because most of these guys, if you get them early, they don't get to do anything else. Like he did a movie, he's done movies since then. He's had stuff been successful. He's been talking to people, and not saying
He
it's
just
not a
has
path of redemption.
he just got a fucking like a huge like salute from the film community with a movie called, I think it's called Honey Baby
Mm-hmm.
or Honey,
It's based on his
that
life.
yeah, it's on Amazon, and apparently, Homeboy's already a little nutty. I mean, apparently he's the mad rapper. He shows up at award ceremonies with masks on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he's a little out there. So I just think that I agree with you. He shouldn't have been handicapped and not been able to kind of move forward. I think maybe the underlying statement is if you allow these transgressions to kind of go under the radar, you're still allowing that person to kind of reap the benefits of that, when you should, as soon as it happens, you should tell someone and trying to eliminate shit like that, because I don't think this is going to be the last time. You know what
No,
I mean? So
and I think, like I
uh,
said, we have this so much support. Like I think men, women see the right and wrong of a man or a woman being abusive, and we just need to nip those things early. There's enough support that people shouldn't feel like there's a heavy cloud on their shoulders where they can't come out and say things. That's what I'm saying. Women, you have my support. Like I'm on your side. Let's do this. Let's get these bad guys out of there and let's move forward.
yeah, I mean, I'm reading some of this stuff that was released from the thing. This is hardcore. He
Hmm.
might be done after this.
That's what I'm saying. 10 years he was with his ex shorty. She came out and said that he was beating on her and being aggressive, and the maids were walking in when they're hotel rooms. He's like butt ass naked, screaming at them. Like crazy things like that. And that might be done. Like the Me Too movement has purged a lot of guys, a lot of execs, a lot of agents. The only person who's kind of withstand the Me Too movement was Trump, and that's about it. Everybody else got purged for the most part.
Yeah,
So
this is
he
this is
might
this
be he might be the next one.
yeah, this is nuts. Hopefully, some of these guys start to get a little smarter. I mean, this is probably the most recent like egregious, right? Because most of them is just like approaching them with sex and like you're taking advantage of them in that way. This one is like, verbal, physical abuse, STD. Like this shit is to the max, homeboy.
Yeah, and supposedly he knew and he gave it to her anyway. So it's
Right.
crazy. It's crazy. We're moving in the right direction. I mean, it's gonna take time, but we gotta the culture. I think humans have to police humans, and we'll get these bad apples out of there.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, that was more of the pressing news feed, but now we're heading now into how and when people are going to start to receive this vaccination, because the FDA green lights the Pfizer COVID vaccine.
Yes.
So, is that good news or is that bad news or is it the same news?
Um, you're gonna still have the skeptics because this is the first time like they've rushed a vaccine. Normally a vaccine takes 3 years to 18 months to just develop it, then another 18 months to test it. Humans, animals, and it's being rushed, and we don't know what the side effects are going to be later on. It might be a short term solution because for the most part, it keeps saying symptoms, And I'm like, I don't want to take a vaccine that's going to cover up the symptoms. I need a vaccine that's going to protect me from the virus, period. So who knows where this leads us? Who knows? You know, those my friends always say, you know, then 2035 or some shit is. Where were you in year 2020? If you were a victim to the vaccine code blah blah blah, you might be in for compensation.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Those motherfuckers.
remember those old lawsuits that
Somebody's suing somebody for weed kill. It's like, hey, have you ever used this
Roundup.
product?
Yep.
Yeah, Roundup. Come and contact your boys. We'll give you some of the money that we get. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, to be honest with you, with the state of California the way it's at, with the state of the United States where it's at, I don't know if a rush vaccine is the answer. I don't know if you rush anything if it's the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like we have this endeavor that we do together, and there are times that it gets rushed and stuff, and we even know that in our own experience, when you run through the pipeline really quickly, you don't get the best product. And again, if we're trying to save lives and worry about lives, I don't think like rushing out a vaccine is the answer, right? I think that we should make sure that it's 100%. Back to what you were saying about the 2020 thing, where were you? You also don't want to be the person who, you know, I don't know, I don't want to say too crazy, but you know, caught something else from getting a vaccine, or you got sick for a vaccine. And then if you bring kids into this, like what's the what's going to be the age group that this vaccine is going to be given
What
to?
it said
Right?
is not, you can't give it to anybody under the age of 16. You have to be 16 and over. That's for this the Pfizer vaccine. So we know that for that for the most part. But it's just crazy to me that we keep overlooking the real effects of COVID and what it's doing to people. You know, you have the kid who committed suicide on Zoom.
That was insane.
11 years old. You know, like we're handicapping these kids mentally. You know, reading, math, just social interaction, hugging their friends when they go to school to see them, playing recess. All these things are like negative impacts on kids, and we're just idly sitting by as adults. The government is just like, fuck them. That's the way I see it, and that's the way I take it, because we have, people are, don't have money, and they're taking long with the stimulus package, which we're going to get into shortly. But it's a myriad of factors that they're ignoring and trying to make COVID this big thing when it's not as big as the media keeps making it seem, because the data's out there, and it's not the 2018 Spanish flu, like where it killed 50 million people worldwide. Like, it's not that. It's something totally different, and it's way less than what we expected. And people have been getting infected at higher rates, but people aren't dying as much as they were in the beginning of this, because we had no handle on it. Now we have a handle on it, and we just got to keep protecting the people who are high risk, and protect our kids. Make sure we take the safety precautions. Use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. Wash your face, and that's it when it comes to this stuff. And as long as the science comes out, and the doctors and the trials, and they kind of assure the public that this vaccine is going to work, then so be it. I feel bad for the healthcare workers, because they're going to be forced to take this vaccine.
Yeah, I know that's tough. You have no option to do it,
because it's either that, or I was talking to Felix about it, my brother who's a nurse, and he was telling me how like he might be forced to take it, but they're in high demanding jobs right now because of COVID, that they could kind of like, if the nurses union, like they say, we're not taking this until like further testing on somebody else. You can't. Are you going to arrest 10 million, 100 million, whatever, how many nurses, 15 million nurses, if it's across the board, nurses and doctors?
If they have a union, bro, the union is going to win all day, every day. I mean, they have the money, the power to at least go to court and argue this thing one way or another. but I still think, like I said, rushing a vaccine that's going to be saving lives is crazy. I just finished watching a movie yesterday. I was trying to look it up. I think it's called Song Something. It's the first COVID movie made, right?
Uh-huh.
That came out, but it's like a fiction, and it's supposedly what COVID would be like 4 years into the future. And even in the movie, like 4 years into the future, I think the total number that they put was like 3 million people had died, which again just gets us to I think the 1% mark,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um,
Is it
and the way
worldwide, that number, or United States?
just the U.S.
Okay.
Um, I think that the way they made it seem was like in the movie that I found interesting was if we don't get a handle on this thing is not going to go anywhere, and it might not have tough implications now as this in the sense of death rate. But if it continues and we don't get a handle on it, people are still going to be dying. That number is still going to climb up, and it's an interesting question to look on the other side, not where you were 2020. Where are we going to be in 3 years removed from this? Because I've talked to other people, and some of the opinion is that this is going to be part of our life. Like COVID is going to be like a version of the flu, right?
Yeah, I can
And
see that happening.
it's going to be somewhere in the middle of do you get the vaccine? Don't you get the vaccine? I also thought that there was um, another thing interesting that they brought up. I think it was also in shucks, what is the name of that movie? There's another movie that's about a worldwide disease, but there's people that are naturally immune to this thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you have asymptomatic, and you have people. So that's the real problem, right? There's just so many different ways that this thing attacks that there's really no rhyme or reason to kind of go through it. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, it doesn't really hurt really young kids, but
Correct.
anybody could get it, right? Any 20-year-old athlete could get it.
Mm-hmm.
A 6-year-old male woman could get it. I mean, and then you can have it and not. I mean, I think it was. We'll go into this a little later too, but Cam was asymptomatic, so he had it, but he didn't have any of the signs or any of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? No coughing, no sneezing, none of the laundry list of things that you get with COVID, with like a flu. I just think that this thing is not going to be as a slam dunk as people think it is. We're not just going to get a vaccine and all of a sudden everything's going to be great.
I
And that's
think,
my concern.
yeah, and I just think people want, like, you can have the people who want the vaccine just so it could feel like a sense of, I have something protecting me, as opposed to just, something else protecting me instead of just a mask and hand sanitizer. So, like, mentally, some people are gonna want to be put at ease with the vaccine just to be like, all right, I can go out and do things, or I can run into somebody, or I can be in a close gathering with other people. At the end of the day, man, if you're listening to this, take care of your body, boost your immune system, take vitamin D, take vitamin C, do everything you can, exercise. I hope everybody takes away from this whole pandemic is to get healthier. That's
But
only
it doesn't even like that. You know why that statement is crazy, bro? Because how the fuck are you gonna get healthy when if you get tired of cooking every damn day and you want to take the missus or the kids out to get a bite to eat? It's McDonald's, it's Wendy's, it's Pizza Hut.
true.
That's fucking available. You know what I mean? So it's kind of handicapping us too, because first of all, no one besides Joe Rogan has talked about managing your health. Not one
Nobody.
person. Not the WHO, not the CDC, not Fauci. It's wash your hands, mask, social distancing. Not take vitamin D, vitamin C, get sun, go walk around the block a couple times, maybe do some push-ups, do any of that stuff. It's like none of these head figures in these places that are smart about this situation are coming in and saying like, if it's affecting your health, then why don't you get your health to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking about that stuff, and from the people who I know and the people who I speak to, like I've send them stuff just like, hey, take care of yourself. Here's some information. If you want to read it, read it. If not, then there's nothing I can do. But as long as I know, I gave the people who I speak to, who I on a regular basis, to make sure here's the information, so you can protect yourself and protect your family. That's as much I can do as a human helping another human. But you got people who are just stubborn, people who are lazy, people who are stuck in their ways, and it's like we're in the middle of a pandemic, and if this hasn't woken you up, I don't know what can.
I don't think so. I think we went back into cruise control. You know what I mean? And now, leading into that next thing, so we have all of this, Everything is kind of closed. I mean, you guys are lucky that you get indoor dining back in New York City, but
No, we're getting it taken away.
taken away. Okay, so back basically, everybody's gonna go back to square one, right? And so what? During the pandemic, booze sales went up 600%. I'm sure obesity is on the rise.
Yep.
I mean, I got some COVID fat. It was almost like a winter thing. You know what I mean? Like I put on probably 10 pounds. I mean,
I think they said epidemic 15, like something like that. It's like COVID 15. I think the term is, or the slogan is. Putting weight on.
Happened to you?
Yeah.
The weight loss.
Quarantine 15. That's what it's called. There you go.
Quarantine. Did someone straighten us out in the chat?
No. I just remembered it right now.
Okay, cool. But yeah, and then so now you compound all of that. We could only eat McDonald's and Wendy's because I tell you, even me, bro, when you cook in the kitchen and then you got to clean it up and then you got to go cook again and then you got to clean it up and then you got to go cook again and do that 3 times a day times 7 times a couple months, you're going to be wiped, right? And then it's like, I don't want to pay $60 for us, a steak that's in a box.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. That's what I got as my to-go, my fine dining food. I'm just saying it's just so much when all of these things are happening. And then now they're playing games. You might get 1,200, you might get 600, you might get nothing. I know people that still didn't even get the money from the first round. They're still fooling around and got it all locked up somewhere, whether they didn't do their taxes properly or they didn't reach out and get the money or whatever the case might have been. But I can't believe it's taken this long, because I don't know if you're aware, but December 25th or 23rd, unemployment stops. And there hasn't really been any word.
I don't know what they're gonna do, man. They're dragging their feet, and by them dragging their feet, it's affecting even the stock market. Like,
right, yes,
stock market even is like, we don't know what to do. People are putting their money out. People need to pay their bills. Soon the furloughs are gonna get lifted on rents, mortgages, student payments, like student loans. All these things need to get addressed, and they're not addressing any of it. It's still a pissing match between these two parties that don't need to do a pissing match. Like, if we can't agree to get people the help that they need, regardless of the party, we have a really bad situation going on. That is still like, oh no, I'm the strong party. No, I'm the strong party. No, I'm the strong party. No, I want this. No, I want that. It's just, we're like, you have adults, grown adults who've been in the public eye, working office 10, 15, 20 years, and it's still like old politics as usual. And I just hope that we're gonna get better leaders from this, like Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, and we get an injection of new people who go and change things. And I hope during this pandemic, the people who are locked down, they educated themselves a little bit. So
we hope so. I mean, I was just listening to a thing on Rogan from a couple weeks back, or it could be even a couple months back. I don't know if you're familiar with Adam Curry, but Adam Curry potentially was the podfather. He invented the whole podcasting platform and all that stuff. And he was talking about on how he kind of feels like this is a globalization play. And it's really strange on how, he said one of the first things that they took away during the pandemic was money, physical money, right? Physical money, physical coins. And now it turned everything into like, data currency that was attached to your social and all this other stuff. So it's just really crazy. Once you start going down different rabbit holes, the future doesn't look the brightest when you tell me that a vaccine got approved for 2021, but yet we have two parties debating on how much money they're going to be giving out. Meanwhile, there's been tons and tons of big corporations getting bailouts. There's been obviously, single entities that have been getting bailouts. And yet, again, unemployment's going to run out in a week or so. And there's no plan in place, to financially figure things out. And if people are not spending, that's the crazy thing too, right? This $1,200, people think that they're going to go like, it's like, oh, we're giving you away free money. Technically, you're not giving away free money because I'm giving it right back to you. I'm not even keeping it.
Yep.
Right? It's not like these people are up. So if you give them $1,200, they're not going to sit on $1,200. They got to go buy groceries. That goes right back. They got to pay their rent. That goes right back. It's like, I get a little crazy when people are like, oh, we just don't want to give money away. You technically are not giving money away. It's just, you like lending people money so that they can
money for all these people, that money's spent. No matter what amount of money you give them, unless it's $100,000 per person in the whole United States, that $5 to $1,200 or $1,500 that they're gonna supposedly give people and not give people is spent already. Like, people probably borrowed money from family members, borrowed money from friends who have it, are backed up on mortgage, backed up on rent, backed up on car payments, backed up on or have to pay for COVID testing. They have bills. They probably have that are sitting there. You know, emergency room fees, like all that shit. People have piled up. It's paid already. Like, that money's spent. As soon as it's gonna go right into your hand and gone.
Yes.
Like,
Right. It's already gone.
It's already gone. It's going to Jeff Bezos' pocket as we speak right now.
Right. Because you know what? The world is terrible, but as long as you have, you know, your Kindle, you're good.
Your Echo Dot is gonna save you.
Right. You're chilling. It's listening to all your conversations and you on fire. And then I think not only was it gross and egregious, because we started out with a gross and egregious story about a dude who took advantage of a young lady, but the fact that Kanye West and Tom Brady are on this list amongst other companies like the Taco Bells of the world and the Pizza Huts and the Burger Kings that got paid out.
Yep.
Tom, how are you taking a mill, right? And you make 50 mil in 2 years under a contract with the Bucks.
And that's just on the field money. That has nothing to do with all his other business ventures off the court.
Right. Yeah, like TB Studios, TB Workout, TB
Aston
Book.
Martin, UGG.
Right, he got a mattress company too, commercial like that.
Everything, anything you could think of. Avocado ice cream, I'm pretty sure he's into that too. No, he has a lot of shit, and it's not to just put a blame on him. Like, it's other people as well. I think just our government in general did a bad job giving businesses that are profiting money. Now, again, if you were giving a business that was just borderline, right? They were like middle, not black, maybe barely green, or even barely red, like a couple percentage points red. And then but it started hitting red when the pandemic hit. Not companies that were in the red for the last 5 fucking years, and then you go give them money.
Right.
You know, and
it makes you feel, dude, like we should have started a company. We would have got money.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yes.
Like if we would have filed the paperwork, it didn't matter.
Yep. Did not matter.
Like, we're just handing out. Now we're talking more of the small business loans, but we're really talking about the big business
like
loans.
$30 million, $20 million.
Yeah.
They gave like $600-700 million to companies.
Yeah, that's a lot, bro. That's too much.
Like, why are they getting that money? And then the little $1,200 check people were getting,
that shit ain't nothing, bro.
They were going to those companies again anyway.
That's true, right?
So, like, why are we giving? Like, oh no, man. I
feel like angry. I know. I feel you. We
all have we've gotten smartphones, and everybody's fucking dumb. Like, and that's the sad part. Like, we have all this information and technology at our hands, and we just dumb. But I don't blame anybody but kind of ourselves, like the human race. Like, we're distracted. There's too many things. You got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got YouTube, you got HBO, you got Hulu, Netflix, video games, fucking Pornhub, OnlyFans. Just there's so much shit that people are doing.
TV show us everything, bro. Amazon, and you're over. It's sensory overload.
Exactly.
There's nothing that you don't want that you can't get and get ordered to you in under 2 days. And with the porn shit, you get it instantly. You just start your OnlyFans page, member account, and you Gucci.
You got these girls who are making 7 G's.
Bro, I'm about to start one, bro.
Or 10 G's a week. Like,
I don't know.
Where are they getting this money from? Where? That's
what I want to know, right? Like, I know, like, they have you have Patreon or Patreon. I always get that name wrong. But these are to help struggling artists put their product, not have to deal with big companies like YouTube. But how in the fuck did the fucking porn industry just explode, bro?
Like,
explode. And not even like the big porn shit, like strictly amateurs.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that a $50 webcam now goes for $150 because everybody's on fucking the webs, and it's usually, models, we'll call them, because I've seen they got boys there too, and I ain't hating on the game. I'm mad. I wish I could be up in there too. doing something and getting money, but it's weird that they're making that money, right? Like, what was the young lady? She's a musician. She started a fan page. Like the first day, she made 3 million.
Like, how?
How did you do that? How did you
Right?
give this person that much bed?
Like, how? Like, people are broke apparently, but how? Like, like when I was going to see my brother, there were cars everywhere, packed, jam packed, and I'm like, I thought people don't have money. Why there's so many cars? Like, I thought everybody's broke. And then you still got people ordering on Uber Eats and
That's
Grubhub.
crazy, bro. Because you don't know how expensive it is to order on that.
Bro. I listen, one time, right? I ran out of coffee in the house and I was like, yo, I don't want to go outside. It was just one of those, like, I'm just gonna order coffee for me and my girl.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
I got a large coffee for my girl, a large coffee for me. I'm in the app. I'm in there, chilling. $175 for a large cup of coffee for me. Another $175 for my girl. All right, cool. Another $4. I'll give the guy $1.50 tip, $2, whatever, $6. Go to the end. $17. I'm like, fam, why are you giving me 19 fees for 2 cups of coffee? Like,
it almost, so to rewind it back a little bit, it almost makes me want to tip the guy.
Exactly, and it sucks.
Like, bro, he's the one that loses the most.
Yep.
Because it's like, you already charged me the delivery fee, and Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, you should be splitting that with Homeboy, right? On top of what you're paying him. Yep. But I guess that's the fee that they're getting. But I wonder what the split is, because I bet you the company's making way more than the guy is.
For sure.
And then now you want me to put, and then, people are trying to be nice.
Yeah, to help people out, like, all right, yo, here's shit's $20. I'll give you $5, whatever the case may be. $5. But like, for the quantity of the stuff you're ordering, like, it's crazy. Like,
also, I think it's an insult too, right? Because think about this. First of all, you're asking. This was the same problem that I had originally with Uber in the beginning, because they were talking about they were independent contractors and then they wanted to be part of the corporation, so you play health and all this bullshit. Okay, that's a side note. But from that came the delivery service. I felt like, why are you hiring someone who's never handled food in their life? The same reason why you put some Joe Blow behind a car. He don't have no customer service. He doesn't understand, like, you got to open the door for somebody. You got to put the packages in. You should maybe have some water. You should have some chargers. You should have some candy, right? Like, those things I'm sure are not in any guidebook. Maybe they are now, but when I used to drive for it, they didn't really have that. You just seen other people do it, so you follow the lead. The same thing, bro. I've ordered stuff and the food comes in terrible condition. He doesn't get me napkins. He doesn't get me any condiments. Like, they just basically delivering the food. That's it. And I get it that that's basically what it is, but it's also like, when I'm getting drive-through, I guess maybe it's me fucking up. I'm expecting that kind of return. Right? Like, Mickey D's and.
Well, you got some of the guys who get the aluminum foil, like the aluminum boxes with the heat that keep the heat sink. You got those. You got a couple of those, but it's still hard. Just certain things you order, like anything with bread with a lot of heat is gonna get soggy. French fries get soggy. It's just certain types of foods you get
from there, right? Like out here, I love Cali burritos. By the time that it comes here, it's done.
Yeah, it's done. It's tough. It's really tough. Like, and if you order for your fam, if you order for your whole fam, it's $60, $50, and you're not getting that much.
We did sushi a few weeks back. It's $90, bro. $90. Are you fucking joking, bro?
It's crazy. And it's a strange world, and I could see why people are losing their minds. I could see why people are losing their mind.
I mean, we're losing our fucking mind right now, aren't we? We're getting a
just
little
thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm hot. I'm already white hot. As me wearing this fucking hat, I'm getting warm up this motherfucker, and it doesn't help when, at least, like, this is not a shot at Kanye West, but Kanye West, I expect, because he's into many business ventures, that he might probably need a loan to kind of restructure the business model, right? But Tom is filthy, and Tom really just started the business model thing.
But even Kanye too, like, I'm not giving him a pass, fam.
I'm not saying
because he's out there talking about, I'm the 9th richest black man in America. Like, we're not doing it.
How did you go from broke to the 9th richest black man?
Because Adidas, the Adidas brand.
All the Yeezys took him. But even when he was killing it on the Yeezys, I think like a year or two ago, he was asking for loans because he said his money was all tied up and stuff.
Yep. But now he's like 3 billion. He's worth like 3 billion. So like, I don't want to hear that. Like, if you worth billions, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. It's a different thing, and I get it. Like there's levels to everything, and Biggie said it right: more money, more problems. But like, you got to situate yourself better there. Like, I can't be bailing homeboy out when you making 100 million, 200 million. You got that sitting in the bank. Like, taxpayers can't be bailing these people out. If you're gonna have a capitalist society, and you know they're gonna make as much money and they're gonna avoid the taxes just because the tax code is structured for people. If you know the tax code, you're gonna be good. You and me can learn the tax code and take advantage of it. Which I'm learning that right now, which I'm gonna do for my other business. So you could do tax write-offs. My computer, I'm gonna tax write that off. Microphones, mileage, everything tax write-off. But we weren't taught that in school. So
it's because they teach you to become an employee, not an employer.
Exactly.
They just want worker bees. Meanwhile, like you said, there's a lot of tax havens to potentially put money in that lower. I mean, Donald Trump pays $750, bro.
Yep.
For a tax year.
But look what he did. He hired his daughter as a consultant. Put like $800,000 in consulting fees and wrote off $800,000 in taxes. That's what they're doing. But like, there's a lot of people like if I have my mom, right? I would pay her every week money up to $30,000, and then I'll get a tax write-off of $30,000 from my employee. But you could do that. So even with your kids, if you have kids at home, pay them the minimum, whatever the minimum is, $200 a week, $250 a week. In check, they get taxed, but you put them on the company as vice president. So now when they're 18, 20, 21, they have business credit because they're on your company. But the shit like this wasn't taught to us when we were kids. So we're starting behind the 8-ball.
100%. And this is what affluent people teach their children: how to manage bank accounts, how to, put together, corporations, how to look for people, and you also leverage their contacts, right? Like for you and I, even starting this mission, I'm knocking on 100 doors so I could get one yes, right? Like I don't even got the plug to the plug.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I got to go hit the streets and actually be with the people and cultivate those relationships so that in the long term, I can be like, hey, would you be interested in maybe helping me out down the line? Is a lot different than being like, yo, dad, you think you could ask Jim if he could, co-sign? Yep. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, don't worry about it. I think he's free this afternoon. Let's talk to him.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's nothing wrong with the method we're taking. Like it's a process that I want to instill in my kids.
Yeah, I agree. What we're arguing is that they have it set up a little bit better than we have.
Yeah, because they have a head start.
As much as BLM is talked about, Me Too, we need to start talking to people about money and how it works and how to make it work for you and how not to be a slave to the institution. I mean, bro, the shit that we just mentioned, you go broke. First of all, we didn't even talk about it, right? They're still arguing about money and where it should go and who should go to, and they paid out other people. But okay, now the holidays are coming. Christmas is coming. How much money people dropped on Black Friday? Probably money they didn't even have.
Yep.
I thought it was stupid, to be honest with you. And maybe this is me. I would have canceled Black Friday.
I was shocked.
Why are we doing this? Nobody got bread? This is disgusting.
Supposedly, that's the thing.
Yeah, right, but I'm just saying, like, we're on the gate. I mean, first of all, listen, even if you're broke and you go to a place, you're gonna want something.
Yep.
Right? So even if you have a little bit of bread, you're gonna go spend it. I mean, that's the worst thing about going shopping. That's why I don't go shopping. Because window shopping, you're gonna try to grab something.
Yep.
You gotta be disciplined to just look and be like, maybe next time. Right? But that's kind of the background I kind of fall from. But other people don't like that. They got credit cards, they're like, fuck it, put it on the card. Yep. You know what I mean?
I'll pay in January.
Yeah. So I just
paid a minimum $30.
I thought it was very gross to be like, Black Friday, make sure you get your deals. And don't forget Cyber Monday. I'm like, yo, no. You know what? It's canceled. It's canceled. It's canceled. And it's the same thing. And we'll lead into our other topic on this too. I don't want these organizations, especially major league organizations, to tell me that they care about lives when they don't. Because if they did, using the NFL just as a simple model, why are you having Thursday night games? First of all, we know Thursday night is a trash game anyway. Usually it favors the home team. Okay. Now we're traveling. Now we got COVID. Now we got all this other shit. Why don't you just play all the games on Monday and Sunday? And
That's
if
it.
you move it around, you do Tuesday and Wednesday like they did. But you give everybody an opportunity. I mean, the NFL is super lucky that they have a lot of disciplined gentlemen underneath them. Because if it was a zoo and guys were really getting crazy, like the NFL really hasn't felt the implications of having the whole season go to shit. Because if both teams tested positive and not just one or two players, like they got lucky they haven't had to cancel a game because they talked about canceling the Ravens Steelers game. They canceled. I think that they tried to discuss canceling the Bills Tennessee game. Like they flirted with the idea, but they got. I think they've been very lucky on how the pendulum has fallen. Because to me, don't tell me you care about lives, bro. You don't. You do not.
I just think that the shield is above all. So like them saying we're gonna cancel games was just to save face, just to say it was it could, it's a possibility.
It was the
And
apologies when you get in trouble. Just say this real quick, and you'll be okay.
Like,
You get in trouble.
like, hey, we're gonna cancel games. But then if you noticed, it went from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday. Like, sure.
They're gonna play a back-to-back Thursday night game, and it's gonna be like week 15 and week 16 together.
Exactly. So it's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
First of all, the COVID altogether is bullshit, but that's, we already spoke about that. But like, this is bullshit because it's always the shield over everybody.
But I think that, and I get that, and I agree. You got to start taking those things off the field, bro. You really do. Like, you can't be saying the stuff you like. I just feel like this has been a year of people just like straight lying to your face and getting caught at the same time, right? Like that normally doesn't happen. Usually, like fake news runs, and that's it. No one comes out and is like, "No, that was fake news," or "That story was bullshit." Right now, it's just whatever, however they handle the story, but then something else comes out later, like, "No, they were lying." So at least there's a little bit of investigative journalism happening. But again, me reading the tea leaves, I am not an epidemiologist. I am not a scientist. I am not a professor. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a genius. I'm not any of this shit. I'm just a regular Joe. But looking at this shit just shows me that the people that are in power don't give a fuck.
Nope.
You're strangling out motherfuckers on money they need. You're making them spend money they don't have. And player safety is not that safety to you.
Of course not.
It almost makes me, question the whole thing with concussions. Are you guys just doing that? Or do you really care if motherfuckers get hurt? You don't care.
Because the way they did it with the concussion thing was they settled, but it wasn't for nowhere near the amount of money that they were gonna settle for.
Same thing with Cap. Cap got settled, but he could have, like you said a few episodes ago, he could have been a billionaire for that thing. He probably settled for like 20 mil, and they said, "Get out of here, kid." You know what I mean?
Shut your mouth. NDA. You can't say nothing.
Nothing.
Because the shield is everything, and the player, I blame the players. I blame the Players Association.
Right. Yes. We talked about
if Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers said, "I'm not playing."
Yeah. That's what they need to, I don't understand what
the players were not playing.
Yeah.
But they can't, because you got these schmucks who weren't educated on finance and weren't educated on money. They get a $500,000 check. 100,000 goes to a chain, another 150 goes to a whip, and the rest goes to a fucking house. Now they paycheck to paycheck. Now they have all their kids in private schools.
Right.
They want to have a home in where they live and where they grew up in fucking Atlanta, and now they want to have a crib in Cali. It's not infinite money. People like it's written and the top guys get a lot of money, yes. But the lower guys don't manage their money correctly, and that's what hurts them.
With the rookie symposium that happens, right? We've all heard the speech, da-na-na, da-na-na, which was one of the greatest Herm Edwards speeches about acting right and behaving. But where's the sophomore symposium and the junior symposium and the senior? Like, we need to continue to educate and be like, yo, you need to maybe money manage a little bit better, or we shouldn't wait, on the last year of your contract, maybe you shouldn't buy that Ferrari. Maybe we should wait till we get another contract, and then, you can ball out, like, don't beast on the first one, because you don't even know if you're going to play not only the first contract, but you don't even know if you're going to get an opportunity to play a second contract. So you might want to take it easy. And a lot of these management groups are fucked up too, right?
Yep.
Because this guy is managed by an agent. So the poor guy's getting fucked on all sides, right? His community, I mean, it's not his fault where he was born at, but he's got a swag, he's got a hustle, he wants the ball, he's been grinding his whole fucking life, eating, grilled cheese sandwiches,
ramen noodles.
Yeah, playing fucking for USC, and then coming to the real world, and now you got cake. It's like, fuck, how am I supposed to react? And then you got the agent in his pocket with 33%. You got the NFL, showing all this other stuff. That's why it just, I don't know.
That's why I blame the Players Association. Like, if I was the president of the Players Association, right? And I was like, all right, guys, we have the union fees, because they have union fees. Then I'm going to have, all right, cool. Listen, guys, we're going to take 10%, and it's going into a real estate fund. And this fund is going to get you whatever, how much you put into it is how much money you're going to get for the rest of your lives. We're going to be like the McDonald's. We're going to be like second, third realtor holding corp. And you're going to have this money coming in for the rest of your life. Set these guys up for that. Get sleazy business advisors out of here. Get these guys situated. Say, hey, listen, you're coming in. You're about to be a prospect. You're going to have 100 people be like, hey, I can help you become a billionaire. I can help you become, financially set for the rest of your life. The NFLPA, the NBAPA, the MLBPA, all of those guys have to be responsible for those players and educating them on financial literacy and putting them, even if they don't have a fund, get them people who know what they're gonna do. Like Allen Iverson's boy. I don't know if you heard the story. So when he signed to Reebok, he got like 20 million up front, and they were gonna give him another like 50 million. And his boy was like, "Yo, fam, chill. Tell them to put that in a trust for you. And when you turn 55, that money gets released." Because you don't know what's going to happen from now until you get to 55. So now when he turns 55, he gets another 30 mil from Adidas. I mean, from Reebok. And his boy put him onto that. And that's, early 90s.
Right.
Mid 2000s, early 2000s. And I just think these guys, again, we have smartphones and people are dumb. And it's just scary.
It seems that the smarter the phone is, the dumber we get.
Yep. Because you're not learning anything. You're repeating what you're reading as opposed to consuming the information. So like when people read headlines and they spurt out a headline, I'm like, all right, what is in the article of the headline that you just spewed? Oh, I don't know. I just read the headline.
I'm guilty as charged on that shit too.
For sure. But I think like you're a responsible adult. You do that to shit and giggles.
Correct.
You
should start being able to get past the bylines, because the bylines are there just to grab you. You should actually start reading the articles. Correct. I think Twitter made it where you had to stop. It gave you like a notification that if you didn't read the article, it forced you to just like have a notification before you could retweet it without reading it. Because they were realizing that too, right? Like people were just like, I don't know, something happened, right? And so it's like, boom, something happened. Fuck it. Let's put it, post it, retweet it, like it. And just because of the initial maybe byline, that was enough to get enough people to keep retweeting it. You know what I mean? And create support. I mean, I think that's one of the things I do like about Twitter that I kind of opposed on some of the other social media apps, is that Twitter tries to create a community, right? We could also argue maybe that Reddit does the same thing too.
Reddit,
right?
I'm dabbling in it the last 3 days, and it's way more
in depth than you thought it was originally.
In depth and way more supportive than I thought.
Right, because Instagram looks like nobody wants to give you the love, right? Like if you don't,
but Instagram is like, I'm pretty, my life is perfect, everything's perfect, and it's
that's
bullshit.
What I'm saying, right? You don't get the love. Facebook, they always argue about politics. I feel like Twitter is kind of a little bit more balanced, but definitely Reddit. At least you have like so many people and so many aisles that everybody kind of manages themselves, right? Like it's not so much just banging on the drum on how perfect your life is. Speaking about perfect lives, because I want to get into this. And we know I'm going to ask this question. It's a little bit more rhetorical, but I want your answer anyway. What happened to Cam? Was it that he ran into the buzzsaw? That's the new best defense in the league. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, who I think are both filthy, right? And then all of a sudden now they're starting to play really good football. But that can't be the only reason why he's not playing good, right?
Ever since he got the COVID, shiz one left. Like ever since he went on the COVID list, he got out.
Because he was balling. That week one game, bro, he balled. He had like 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, had above 250 passing yards, and maybe 100 on the ground. Then all of a sudden gets COVID and then disappears. Right. I mean, granted, I seen the stat on the game yesterday. Prior to the Rams game, the Patriots had won, I think, the last 5 out of 6 games. Even though, right? But that was not on Cam's back. That was on good defense and running the rock. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I do got to say about Cam, and then I'll let you take a tack of what I said, was that I think as a manager of the game, at least he kind of gets that. Because that's not really his play style. Right, like
and now it's showing. Yep, it's right. It's kind of revealing what Tom Brady had to deal with the last 2 years. Like, there's no offensive weapons at all. Like, not even a little bit. And Cam has always been the guy who is a great talent, but didn't train and work hard. Like,
I think that's true, bro. The guy's like a house, man. You don't stay jacked.
Working out is not working hard.
Okay. There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Because I could go to the gym and if I'm not studying the game, I don't know shit. I could be fucking built.
Right.
But if I don't know the game and my mechanics are off, you could be as jacked as you want.
Right. So Tom versus Tom, or Tom versus Time, he had binders of seasons, right? Like homeboys.
His hobby was watching film.
Correct. Yes.
Like, guys don't have that love to watch film. Like, he was like, all right, babe, I'm going to go, relax. Yeah, and then had film.
Yeah.
Which
sounds like me a little bit, because that's like my favorite thing to do is watch film.
But doing it for 20 years of watching film, it's just a different animal. And I don't want to, put new Cam in that category, but like, I get people want to do their own thing and be their own person and be their own man and create their own legacy. But you got to take greatness from all the greats. Just little tips, little things in here. All right, this is how Peyton Manning read the offensive line at the offensive line. This is what he saw on defense. Tom Brady, his quick decision making, his love of watching fucking film. Just those little things like that. Look at Russell Wilson. He doesn't take any shots. He'll run down ASAP. He's not taking a shot. Cam Newton wants to run somebody over. And I get it. You're bigger than that person. But the position you play, you can't put yourself in harm's way because that's going to hurt your team. And he didn't learn that.
Is that a knock on the Carolina Panthers that they didn't get somebody in the building to kind of talk to this cat? As tough as, Riverboat Ron is, like, I mean, I seen the Carolina with Cam on it, the premiere show, and Cam seemed like he was a good citizen, right? Like, he got along with all the teammates, coaches liked him. He was always in meetings. It wasn't like he was like dipping and partying. I mean, you don't ever hear, like, Cam's private life is pretty private.
Yes, I don't think he's ever had any off the field issues.
No.
But it's just that you have those little minor details. Opening your shoulder too high. Stepping back too fast, stepping back too slow. Is it gonna be a problem
forever? Because we're seeing maybe a little bit now of it with Lamar, that the running quarterback maybe relies more on the running, and they kind of use their natural gifts, where it kind of maybe allows them to kind of scrape by on being a better passer. Right? Because we've seen it happen. Vic did it. Cam's done it. I mean, I just had shout out to John Conti, who I know is on the feed and listening to this. We just did a show recently, and a member of the show, Rich, shout out to Rich too, he just said that running quarterbacks don't work in the NFL.
That's not true.
Because you need to pass. You need to pass, bro.
You need a combination of both.
And sure, but the thing is, long term, it doesn't work.
Strictly a running quarterback, no.
Right. So that's what we're saying. We're saying you're going to have to develop your
Yes.
passing. You cannot just continue to take it to the house every play.
It's just tough because, like, this is the issue I have with people with Tebow, where is it about the stats? Because people will be like, it's not about stats. All right, so if it's not about stats, it's about winning. All right, he was winning.
Right.
So, but it's not about winning. It was about how he played. So which one is it? People were talking at the both ends of their mouth.
Listen, I think that Tebow's situation was tough because you have John Elway who's in charge, right? And John Elway is going to look at Tebow with one eye and be like, this guy's kind of a glory hound, because he kind of is. Every time Tebow's fucking running around, the homeboy's shirtless, right? Then you're looking at him.
I wouldn't run shirtless if I look like that. I don't give a fuck. I'm kneeling down, maybe like, ugh.
Bro, I'd be like
Jesus,
Chris Hemsworth all day, shirtless like a motherfucker. But you got this great guy who, people argue is like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But when you look at somebody who doesn't throw the rock well, who probably doesn't study as well, maybe it was bad for him to move off for Tebow, because Tebow was winning, and everybody uses the term prototypical quarterback, which basically means a pocket passer who knows how to hit the reads. And I don't know, maybe he got in his own way because they're still searching for a QB. Yep. And they really didn't have to.
Well, they got Peyton after that. So, like, it worked out. They got a Super Bowl. They went to 2 Super Bowls. I get it, because it's Peyton Manning is a legend coming to you, choosing to play with you. I get that. What I'm just trying to say is, when it comes to Tim Tebow, is like, why didn't the Jets give him a fair shot? You understand what I'm saying? Why didn't, I guess in the Patriots, he didn't need to go there, but he went to the Patriots.
The whispers out of the Patriot camp was that he had a problem digesting the playbook. Now, granted, the Patriots offense under Josh McDaniels is probably one of the most complicated playbooks in the league.
Josh drafted him, so that's the bullshit excuse.
Right. Well, Josh has some weird stuff on him.
Yep.
He's had some really good players, and he's screwed up some things, because his running in he was he the Denver coach, or was he the Miami coach?
Denver coach.
Like Denver, right? He screwed that up big time.
But what I'm saying, like, all right, back to what we were saying about Cam. Yeah. What I'm saying is, even when it comes to Lamar's issue is he can't throw outside the numbers. So we're there's the only thing I don't like. We're trying to get instant gratification from this young kid, which is Lamar. But Cam Newton has been in the league almost 10 years now, and he hasn't tried to develop and become a better pocket passer, or not even a pocket passer. They could do what they do with Jared Goff and roll him out to the left, roll him out to the right, get him into better situations. But he himself has to try to be better. And it sucks because this year he was playing for a big contract, or at least a decent contract for next year. And he might be a glorified backup quarterback next year.
Yes. He ain't gonna get no
he might get another $1 million deal again and go play for a franchise like the Bears, or I don't know who else. I can't see him.
Like there's gonna be a lot of people on the unemployment line, right? So to add somebody else into this thing, Carson Wentz. So it was announced this week, Hearns is taking over for Wentz. If that happens and Hearns sees any kind of success, now Wentz is gonna be on the unemployment line. And how many people might think that they have a higher ceiling with Wentz than they have a higher ceiling with Cam?
Yep.
Right. So like, even as bad as Wentz is, Wentz might actually start for another franchise.
Wentz, they were talking about, Colin Cowherd brought it up. He was saying that Wentz might go to the Colts. The Colts might trade for Wentz because Frank Reich, who had him on trajectory to win the MVP the season that he got hurt.
How to work with him, basically.
So that might be it, and they'll take that money off them. They'll pay it because Phillip Rivers is out after this year. He's on a 1-year deal, and
that's actually a smart play. He doesn't have to play in inclement weather. He gets a dome, and the AFC South is garbage. Exactly. I'm sorry, I love you, Tennessee, but you guys just started showing up to the dance. You know what I mean? Like,
he'll go from a shitty offensive line to a fucking great offensive line, the top 5 offensive line.
People are not discussing enough, right? That Wentz's offensive line is trash. Because I was watching that Philly game, and Hearns was running for his life too.
Yep, he got sacked. He got sacked 4 times.
Right. So he only played like a couple quarters. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a slippery slope. I brought up to you off the air, looking at it to measure these guys up. Is Jared Goff at this point better than Carson Wentz?
It's hard to say just because Jared Goff hasn't been in the running for MVP. And Wentz, the year he got his towards ACL, he was gonna win the MVP. But
That's true.
obviously, you can't. You have to finish the season in order to win MVP, and that's why Tom Brady kind of stole it at the end, that MVP. But Carson Wentz was on pace to be the MVP, and they both got to the Super Bowl. Well, Carson Wentz got his team in a great position to get to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles took him to the promised land. Jared Goff got into the Super Bowl, but he was exposed by Bill Belichick. And I don't know. Like, Jared Goff has looked good in the regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, he hasn't looked great. And I don't know what they're gonna do. It's a tough.
On the show when they played on Thursday, talking about how McVay basically said he was outcoached by Bill Belichick.
Yep.
And I think that Super Bowl loss is more on McVay than it is on Goff.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, I'm watching this year, right? And what I've watched from the few years, right? So, like, let's go, for example, Carson Wentz has played, not the whole time, but with Alshon Jeffries, right? Mm-hmm. Alshon Jeffries is an animal. 6'4 plus, wingspan ridiculous, jumps out the building, big hands, route running, all these things, right? For the most part, even some of the Philly underneath players, like he has arguably a top 5 tight end, right? He had things. Goff has not the same caliber of player. I mean, Cooper Kupp was like cut by 100 fucking teams before he landed in the Rams, and all of a sudden, bared fruit. Robert Woods, who used to be on my fantasy team a lot, right? Fucking Robert Woods was like a backup on Buffalo for 5 years, and that's their number one, right? They really don't have a true running back. I don't know, man. This season, I'm starting to dig Goff. I think that maybe there was a bit of a limitation with the way they were running the offense that doesn't showcase him enough. But bro, he still put up 40 something with the Chiefs a couple years back. They're respectable now. They struggled against other teams, but I think that's just because they're limited on position players. But I mean, when you're throwing touchdowns to Cooper Kupp, I don't know. I feel like that puts you in a different a discussion.
I think this discussion is still a to be determined. I think it's still relatively young. I think another year or two, because if he goes to, like I said, if Wentz goes to the Colts, who knows? Right.
We could have a different discussion.
Like, who knows what they're gonna do there? And for the most part, Philly is always hurt. They've been hurt the last after they won the Super Bowl. They've been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year.
I'm not trying to take shots at the G, man, but the whole division is just bad, terribly.
Hey, we're not bad. We're in first fucking place. Okay?
I get that, but you guys always have crazy injuries. Yep. Eagles always have crazy injuries. Dallas always has crazy injuries, and so do the Washington football team. So, like, is it a strength and conditioning issue? Because the East is always like, for many years, the East was supposedly the best division in football. But as of lately, a lot of these guys, man, they're putting dudes in body bags. I mean, you guys have suffered a lot of injuries too this season.
Yep.
To key players, right? Like, how many times is like the best wide receiver, the best running back, the best tight end, the best quarterback, like all injured?
I think we're gonna do some damage because we're finally healthy right now. I think we're the.
No, I like it. I'm interested to see. We'll tease it a little bit, but as soon as I seen the pick, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on AZ and the Giants this week.
For sure.
Just cause, but no, I think that they're definitely the better team in the division, 100%. And like I said, the moment my man Joe Judge started boxing fools in the locker room,
everything changed. But like I said, they were close games. But sticking to what we're talking about with these guys.
So I want to move on to talking about we're still on quarterbacks. Yep. Is Lamar back? And back to back Lamar, right? Because when we say Lamar back, again, another discussion. Lamar's not an elite quarterback. He's an elite running quarterback, right or wrong?
Yes.
He threw a pass to Marquise Brown, bro. It could also be too that Marquise Brown is like 5'8", bro. You see how little that dude is?
He is, but like Antonio Brown was 5'10", like, and he was cooking people.
Okay.
Odell's 5'10", 5'11". He'd be cooking people too. So like,
It's not really a deal. I just think
look
that
at Julian Edelman. He be fucking people up in the middle of the field. Like,
I got you. I'm just saying, like, they don't seem like they're stacked at the position players.
I think they're stacked everywhere. I just think that offense and Lamar is limited at throwing the ball outside the numbers. Everything is across the field, just inside. Like the I don't know if did you see the game when they played the Cowboys or some of it?
I seen parts of it because I started to get disgusted. I can't believe that linebacker whiffed on that tackle from chasing the wrong fucking gap.
Exactly.
That sounds like fucking like basic shit.
And
So, yeah,
the one that over the field, like you probably saw, where he threw it to Miles Boykin. It was like it was like right at the number, but the inside of the number. Like it's still everything's the middle of the field. There's nothing outside, vertical, comeback routes, out of bounds, catching vertical comeback routes on the sideline. There's nothing like that. It's everything is RPO, RPO, RPO.
Or is it Greg Roman's fault? Because somebody's calling the fucking plays.
It's
bro.
both. It's both. They're calling those plays for a reason. They seen you in practice. They're not calling these.
Got you.
They're not calling these because they don't want to call them. You know, they're the coaching coaching staff's job is to put you in the best position to succeed with your assets. So like, it could probably be 50-50. You know, they seen him in practice. He keeps getting picked off on the outside. You know, we don't know what it could be. What if he just keeps missing the guys running on the outside? You know, everything's to Mark Andrews over the middle. Everything's middle, RPO, outside, middle. Like, and then when the playoffs comes around, he gets exposed. And he looked good because it was the Dallas Cowboys, and you know the Dallas Cowboys suck.
Okay, so in the 2 years that you've watched him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that there's room for growth, or you think he hit a ceiling?
I think there's still room for growth. I don't want to put him in a box because this is his his second year, basically.
He's not even done with the second year.
You know, like he's basically his second year starting.
Oh, actually, yes, second year.
Remember, he started at the end of his rookie year.
Yeah, last year was the second year that he came onto the scene like Splash Brothers.
He won the MVP.
Yeah,
and
then this year he's halfway through it, and the team, they're not going to the playoffs. I mean, even if they were, they're not going to make any noise.
Exactly, and that's the crazy part. They might miss the playoffs this year, just because
no one called them and told them that the Browns were going to show up and be animals.
Exactly,
which is weird to me that they didn't copy and paste that shit too. Because no offense to Mark Ingram, but he's got less in the tank than he has higher in the tank, and Dobbs is not that effective, and the other running back, Gus, Gus is not killing it. So it's just like, all right, you know, I feel bad for him at times too, because you could tell he's looking for dudes and there's nothing.
Exactly. But is it because the way the offense is set up? Everything's a shotgun, RPO. Then I'm gonna try to find something.
Yeah, and they run a lot of that full house shit.
Exactly. The three running backs, fullback.
Yeah, they got everybody.
Tight ends. Like it's just weird. Like, but again, it could possibly be he's limited. His timing's off. He doesn't know what's the hot read. He's still young. Like, he's still young. So I don't want to condemn this kid.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But when you see Justin Herbert come in and light people up,
like, that kid is balling, bro.
As a rookie, as a true rookie, and he has a fucking cannon. Yeah, and I get it. He's not the same. Lamar obviously will dust him, but we're not talking about running. We're talking about throwing the ball accurately and anticipating. Yes. Touch. He has it down.
I mean, you could argue that fucking Mike Glennon is a better quarterback at this point than fucking Lamar Jackson, because Mike Glennon knows how to throw the rock.
Exactly. There's a lot of Tua, like.
Right, another guy to someone, and that actually might be the beginning of, because Tua was kind of not really, but more of a slasher, like east to west. He's more, I would say, at least in college, played a little similar to Russell Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. He's not trying to run down the field for the 90, right? So he might be one of the first in the newer school of kids, that newer quarterback that kind of gets it. Is not trying to take it to the house, but throws a phenomenal football. I mean,
that Lamar's so fast. He's faster than everybody. That how can you not go? You know,
I feel you. And then you
if
don't want
I'm
to
him,
get.
I would just hit up Michael Vick. Like, yo, Vic, I need every single piece of advice, every thought process you had, because you had a fucking cannon for an arm, and you was fast as fuck. Where should I keep improving on? Because I
But
don't end up like that.
so you know what sucks, right? With Michael Vick especially, Michael Vick is always like touted as this running quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we watched him growing up, you and I especially. He was kind of like one of our favorite players, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we didn't dissect the games, but we watched very closely. Even though Michael Vick was the fastest man on wheels at the time he came out, he also could throw the rock a million miles away. And he had anticipation and touch. Like he was a lot more polished, I would say, coming out of college throwing the rock. Because when he got with Andy Reid made him look unbelievable
Yep.
as an Eagle, right? So I think that might be some of the secrets right there for Lamar. Lamar's gonna have to go talk to Andy because Andy
Something.
he can make anybody look good.
Yep. Something.
So we watching this game, right? And first of all, they shouldn't even let these guys. I know it sounds crazy, but they shouldn't even let these guys have phones on the sidelines. And if this was gonna be sitting on the sidelines texting, he should have been in the locker room, not getting you want to be with your guys. And it's kind of fucked up that he want to play Dallas, but it's like you do all this work and then you get like kind of the rug pull underneath you from the NFL, and then you're like, I'm quitting. I'm never playing again.
Well, he's on the COVID list now. So we haven't heard anything from him since his Twitter, raid. But remember, he probably had his phone on him because he was working out before the game. He probably listening to music, had the headphones on, warming up.
About that, yeah.
You know,
I forget that our phone does other things.
So he probably had whatever the tight band on his arm or his pocket with the zip up pocket, and he probably was listening. Whoever.
He looked like he was still in practice sweats.
Yeah,
right?
so
like
he's probably listening to whoever he was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Had the headphones on, and then they was like, "Oh, you have your test kit." Because he took 2 tests, both were inconclusive, and the protocol is that if they're inconclusive, you got to keep taking them until the test says you're either negative or positive.
Okay, so then what happened with number 3?
Came back, he was positive.
Fuck. Well, look, I mean, we were talking about them caring about player safety. If that's the case, then I'm sorry, Bryant, you can't play, bro.
Exactly, and that's why he went on that little rant, like, "Yo, fuck this, I'm out. I hate this, blah blah blah." But this is what you signed up for. Like, you're fighting your way back into the league after being out for so long. And
he was a monster, and then you kind of like just disappeared off the face of the earth, and then
now you have a chance to come back and be good, and you throw kind of a temper tantrum as the grown man.
John don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah,
John Harbaugh will fire you,
and
he ain't trying to put that shit. It's not.
And who's to say Lamar's like, "Yo, fam, what you doing?" That locker room voted Earl Thomas out. They were like, "We don't want him back."
Wow, man, that's crazy. We got to expand on that the next time because that makes it even more of an interesting story. The Legion of Boom up in Seattle, because obviously if he was kind of toxic in that locker room, I could only imagine how he was because they didn't resign him in Seattle. So that's kind of G shit. So they're really a close team then.
Exactly. So he got to watch it. You don't know where this is gonna go, and talking about player safety and what the players were like, the NFL and sports across the board. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're gonna do.
So this is leading into our next segment. I can't even believe the NBA started another season. Like, are you guys crazy? Like, let's chill out. Like, everybody just calm down. It's almost like the billionaires are freaking out because they think the money's gonna go somewhere, so they're like beasting, right? It's almost like
it's the players too, though. Like, don't let the players fool you, because in the collective bargaining agreement, they can't cancel the season and then not pay the players.
Oh, because if they cancel, they're forced to play out everybody. It's all guaranteed money.
No. If they cancel the season, they have a stipend where they don't have to pay the players because there's no revenue being generated. But
that's kind of fucked up because even though it's the players, like you just told us earlier about the story, homeboy buys the watch, the chain, the crib, the other crib, the car. He's popped, so he really can't say I can't play.
Exactly.
So it's not really that it's a decision. I mean, it's technically a decision by his financial decisions, but it's kind of like they're getting screwed because that sounds like a terrible idea. If they don't play, I don't get paid.
Yep. But that's because you have to fill. The league With
Right,
because remember the Players Association and the league, they for the most part everything's almost 50-50. They split the revenue almost 50-50.
Okay.
I think it's like 51-49 or something like that. Now they have contract obligations they have to fulfill. So the reason why it's 72 games is they have to fulfill a 72 game contract in order to get paid from Disney, in order to get paid from the local TV markets. You have to fulfill these TV contracts in order to get this money, so the salary cap goes up, and you guys keep getting paid bread. But if you don't play, you don't get paid.
I mean, I guess that's fair. If you don't work, you shouldn't get paid. That makes 100% sense to me. You know? I just can't believe they went back so quickly.
I thought they were going to start it up January and then not compete with football. You know?
I guess they also looking at it like while the eyeballs are glued, let's keep taking advantage of it.
Yeah, but then that's just being greedy and trying to take the short-term game instead of looking at the long-term game.
That's what they want. That's what they want.
That's a bad way to do it.
I agree, but right now you're competing with the NFL that's like literally in the teeth of the hunt. Even the Jags playing Tennessee has playoff implications.
Yep.
Now you're gonna start a game or a season where no one really cares about the beginning of the season.
Nope.
So the ratings, I mean, there are going to be ratings, but we've already talked about it in prior episodes that the NBA Finals, got trumped by a weak sauce Thursday night NFL game.
Yep.
So, with that, we're speaking about getting guys paid. What is your opinion on Paul getting that money? You got to pay him, right, to keep that thing alive.
You got to pay him just because of what you mortgaged to get him. You gave away two players, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Gallinari. And then you gave away 3 first-round picks.
Right.
So
they mortgaged the whole shit
basically
for one guy.
For one guy.
Okay, you watch way more basketball than I do. I know Paul George is dominant, but is he that dominant?
No.
Right. That's what I thought.
He's a flop chop in the playoffs.
Right.
He calls himself Playoff P, but has fizzled out the last 4 playoff series.
I love it when players give their own playoff names because that's not how it works, bro.
And the closeout game, he went 4 for 16 when they lost in the game 7.
Christ.
And I don't want to downplay this. I think everybody has different forms and different problems and different mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying that he was having a hard time in the bubble. Like he was depressed and having a hard time. And I'm like, in my brain, you're paid.
Right. Shit is good.
It's not that money's going to buy happiness, but money could solve problems that you or I can't solve.
Right.
So you're getting 24/7 room service.
Right.
You're not traveling anywhere.
Right. Life is not that bad.
Life is not bad when you compare it to somebody who's working 4 jobs in a pandemic.
Who just got furloughed, who can't pay the rent, we're waiting for unemployment.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if people don't, or the psychiatrists aren't doing a good job of having people self-reflect real life situations.
On that same note, though, I've been arguing this with a bunch of my friends, and Cam falls in this too. Imagine if you were the greatest thing since sliced bread at 11. Mm-hmm. You win all your championships at high school. Automatically, every college is drooling for you.
Yep.
You go to a great college. You go play for Kentucky, let's say. You do the one and done. You get drafted by the NBA or whatever the case is. I just went down that NBA ramp, but whatever. Land mega deals, land sponsorships. Bro, for the last 20 years, you've been out of touch. There's no way that you're in touch now. Exactly. Because you don't even go grocery shopping.
You don't know what how much milk is.
Yeah, you're right. Who was it you said on Ellen that fucked that shit up? Was it Bill Gates? Or who was saying
Bill Gates was like $9 for milk and crazy eggs was $8. He had no idea.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that there's also a level of detachment from these guys, right? They're not even running their own lives. They have personal assistants and personal trainers and personal chefs
For
and
sure.
personal shoppers and personal this and personal fucking that. That you know, I guess I mean it's such a weird discussion, and I don't think we have enough time in this thing to discuss it because I think even before COVID, you could be dealing with depression as a an athlete,
For
right?
anything,
Like
yeah.
look at all the artists, right? That have been amazing. I mean, Amy Winehouse is like one of those, right? That
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal, great, crushing it. Had a problem getting their shit together mentally. Kurt Cobain was another motherfucker like that. There's a lot of dudes that in that, and you could kind of compare lightly uh artists to athlete only because they're both kind of performers in a way.
Yep.
But the psychology I feel like that goes into developing yourself, staying grounded. Also, too, like you know what movie kind of pointed that out a little bit? The movie with Adam Sandler, right? Like KG
Oh
knew
yeah.
he's not Kevin Garnett. I'm KG, right? So like now you refer to yourself in the
As
third
this
person.
mythical figure.
Yeah. Like so you're not now you so how are you gonna relate to somebody like that? So of course, if homeboy's not used to popping bottles of aces in the clubs, and now you put him in a room, getting service, and he's eating mediocre shit, it might fuck with homeboy's brain because I think that that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. And I
The
was trying to
creatures of
talk
habit.
not only creatures of habit. I think that you ever seen the movie The Program?
No.
Okay, so we should watch it. It's a really good movie though. But it basically says that if you're like an edgy player that you need to live on the edge, it kind of goes hand in hand on how you play on the field, right? Like same thing with and this is terrible. I'm not condoning this, but who knows if Tiger Woods' edge was having all those relationships,
I think we
right?
spoke about that. I think we said he needed to fuck 50 bitches
To
to.
be to consider in his brain that when the largest game of the whole entire world is going on, I'm not sweating it because I'm a G, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that level of and I have a hard time with it too because I would like to consider myself a good person, right? And I feel like once you cross that line, you kind of leave the good person shit because then you become more of I'm gonna do whatever it takes, right? So like, fuck it, if I gotta do, all these lines of blow before I go, like look at the dude from the Giants, right? He was playing on crack. We don't know if he was really a dominant player. He was just playing on
On
crack,
PEDs, basically, right?
right?
Literally.
Yeah, and homeboy was just yoked and like bugged the fuck out. Like that's the thing. Like, however these guys create their edges, that's what makes them the players on the field. That's kind of why, and this is terrible for me to say this, but that's kind of why I've never really cared about what they do off the field. Because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I care about the guy in the jersey. What he does on the field is awesome. Now that might sound terrible because if the decisions that he's making off the field is what's giving him that, they might not all be great, right? Like, so it's tough. I think that's why also minus all the things the shade we threw Tom Brady, that's what makes Tom Brady different because Tom Brady's like at home, no club, same girl, family, and he's still able to compete at a high level mentally, right? Get angry, headbutt dudes, get all yoked up. Most guys can't find that animal within them, so they need to go out and find that thing. You know what I mean? So I just feel like the athlete performer artist world is very strange, and I don't think like I get you. I would be pissed off too if homeboy was fucking getting treated like an emperor and he's like, I'm depressed. I'm like, bro, they're hand feeding you grapes, seedless, organic, that went to the store from your personal shopper, from the best aisle, felt every grape. And my man, you feeling sad? What's wrong with you?
Got to
But
be
obviously,
reevaluated situation.
yeah, right. That's why I think
And
they kind of lost.
but he's not the
It,
only player who's like that.
a lot of NBA guys though,
Yeah.
because even I think your boy that we were going to talk about in a little bit, homeboy in Brooklyn, he's kind of one of those dudes. I
Yep.
think Russell Westbrook is kind of one of those dudes, right? Kyrie is a little off kilter, so is Westbrook. I mean, there's some dudes that just need the edge. I don't know. I mean, you could argue maybe John Wall's another dude like that, right? But
True.
then some dudes get lost on that persona.
That's why,
And
like,
then
out of everybody, you gotta respect LeBron. Like,
right,
I think he's the one of the most mentally tough players, just from an outside and inside perspective.
but I feel like with LeBron, he's a little different, right? So like, let's use a Westbrook or who's the kid? I always forget. Kyrie. Let's say Kyrie, right? Like Kyrie might have been like the 2 or 3 best kid in his high school, right? There was, I'm sure, other players.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend. In Akron, Ohio, LeBron James was like the next coming of Jesus Christ.
True.
So I think that LeBron James at a very young age learned how to manage the expectations of a whole city behind you, a whole team behind you. Like if LeBron failed, there was so many people that were waiting to cash in the LeBron checks that like mad people made money on LeBron James's back.
For sure.
Right? Not that many people made that much money on Westbrook's back, on Kyrie's back. You know, maybe they're intimate circles, but like, what's that dude that does ESPN? He went to ESPN because he used to follow LeBron in high school.
Brian Windhorst.
Yeah, and because he blew up that way, now all of a sudden, now you covered one guy, and now you're all knowing. Now I'm not disrespecting him, but that's what I'm saying. Like LeBron had a lot of things on his shoulders that I think even Tom is similar to. You know, Tom. He already brought in the burden of getting drafted so low and playing high. And, you know, a lot of people don't even talk about how many comebacks he had in Michigan. But there's just some guys that had pressure at an early age. I think you and I are kind of, you know, fit in that cloth too, right? Dad wasn't always around. Grandma was in the scene, had to help out mom, right? Like, so that real humble shit has a way of like defining you later. I feel like if you don't have that and shit has been kind of a slick and easy road, it's a little different. And I think that there's a lot more players like that. I mean, LeBron is obviously an anomaly for so many other reasons, but I think mentally it has a large part to do with the fact that like his high school probably wasn't shit, and his high school was probably playing bums, right? Like he wasn't in the best of the best. So I think like for him, he was already trading. And then, you know, the I'm going to Miami shit, that must have helped him a lot because he put him behind the 8-ball bad on that play.
Exactly.
You know?
I might not like his game, but I gotta respect what he does, has done on and off the court. I respect the way he made a decision to go to Miami. I think all the players should follow suit. But don't get mad at other players doing the same thing he did.
Right.
Like when people got mad at KD for going to the Golden State, why are you getting mad at KD for going to Golden State? The media and NBA fans have made it either if you didn't win a championship, you're a fucking bum. And that's what the narrative have become. And now these young guys are like, wait a minute, if I don't win a championship, I'm a fucking bum. All right, so now I gotta go make sure I go try to win a championship. And that's what been the narrative. And that's why we see all these guys, this player movement all the time. You know, I gotta win. I gotta be with the best team. Because growing up, all these guys are playing with the best players in the country because they were all on AAU teams.
Yes. Playing
together. You know, you would have LeBron, you would have, I'm making this up, I'm saying they would have LeBron, KD, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins all on the same team.
Right.
So now, like, all right, we're going 49-0 in AAU. Now I'm in the league and I got this bum who can't make a 15-foot jump shot. And you put these guys in a bad position. We're like, all right, LeBron, you're never going to win a ring. Oh, I'm never going to win a ring? All right. D-Wade, Chris Bosh, what's up, fam? And they go to 3 of the top 10 players in the East go join together. So that's the narrative is now.
It seems to be the formula to win. You know?
Yes and no.
I agree. It's tongue in cheek, but I'm just saying, like, for the most part, it's been successful. It has probably like a 70% success rate.
Well, they went 50-50. They went 50-50 in Miami because they won 2, lost 2.
Right.
They played 4 years together.
But they still got 1, right?
Yeah,
like,
they got 2,
like,
yeah.
Accomplished, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. More missions got accomplished than not, because the big 3, when the big 3 hit it, they won in Boston. Then you get the next version of that was the Miami version. They hit the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Next version of that was the KD version. Now we got the KD and Kyrie version, but that, I don't know. You could argue that that's not really like,
it's not even a big 3 yet.
Right.
So because they don't have a third star. Power. And then you got Kyrie who's bugging out. We'll segue to this, where the media is the reason why the game is as big as it is. As annoying as part of the media could be, asking fucking stupid questions, or like, how much cereal did you eat? Did that cereal bother you today? Why did you miss that layup? Why did you miss a jump shot? Like, monotonous questions are like, really? Do I really got to answer this? But you just have to, because it's just part of your obligation as an employee that the NBA PA and the NBA put together and said, all right, you as an NBA player have to go and talk to the media. Just because the media goes out and then promotes our game, and then that's how the more promoting, the more people know about a game, the more we can sell contracts, the more money we can make. So him coming out and saying, I got better things to do with my time, and I don't want to speak to pawns. It's like, what are you doing, fam? Like you're not LeBron James. You're not Kevin Durant. You are not a franchise difference maker. Let's get that straight right now. Under your watch in Cleveland, your team was in the lottery. They got the first round pick 3 times while you were on the Cavs. So let's not make it seem like you were LeBron franchise changing. Let's get that straight. You went to Boston, you got hurt. They went out in the second round with you. The next season, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals without you. So let's not make it seem like you this all game-changing player. So like when Brooklyn was like, oh, we need to make a trade Kyrie and some picks and get James Harden.
Facts. I'll take that.
You understand what I'm saying? So like Kyrie needs, I don't know what it is.
It's lesser of a head case and a problem off the court. Right? You don't know what you're going to get on the court.
He said that the world is flat. Like, you can't take people like that seriously. Like, what are we going to do with people who saying the world is flat when there's so much more evidence that it's not?
I think that Kyrie is a difference maker player guy. I just think that his head gets in his way and he's limited because of that. And again, everybody cares about brands. So his brand is more important than his game.
But his brand and his game is, I'm hurt all the time.
Right. Well,
he's always hurt. I mean,
he should have never left Cleveland. He should have stayed with LeBron.
Yeah, but then he want to be under LeBron's shadow.
No, I get that. But he's already came out and he's went back and said that he had to walk that back.
For sure.
That was gotta be the stupidest shit in the planet to say.
But like,
you're getting a chance to play with the best player on the planet. What are you doing?
Where's your perspective? You were in the draft. You got the number 1 pick, not the number 2 or 5 or 10 pick. Number 1. You know what it takes to get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft? You were fucking dog shit trash. And you were on that team, and they got it 3 times. So don't make it seem like you, like, here's the issue. Kyrie is so flashy, and he's a good player, but people get blinded by the flashiness. And he has this false sense of like he's a superstar when he's not a superstar. He's a star, but he's not a superstar. There's about maybe 4 superstars in the league.
I agree. I think he's got a little bit of spec, so he thinks he's a superstar.
You got KD, you got LeBron, you got Curry, you got James Harden, and you got Giannis. Those are your 5 superstars. Everybody else is a star.
Max.
There's no other superstars on the court. So like, I don't know, his perspective is off. To say that I'm not gonna talk to pawns is a waste of time. So talking to people who are gonna promote your game.
So basically, to start out the season for the 2020-2021 season, he's already coming out the building hot. He's already putting attention on him that's not unnecessary.
Yep.
And basically showcasing a team that's trying to emerge as a team of New York with already kind of some, bad media attached to it. Because the talk of the town is not only is, KD and Kyrie going to work out, but is Kyrie going to work out?
Period.
Right? Like, that's the real question. Like, how are you guys going to justify getting homeboy and paying him? Because they're paying him like a superstar. They ain't paying him like a fucking star.
Exactly. And now, they're considered the top team in the East right now.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy. Because of KD being healthy?
Just because of KD.
Wow.
Being healthy.
That to me sounds terrible.
Because KD is 80% of what he was, he's a beast. He's a beast. And they have a good core around them. With Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, they pay Joe Harris. You got DeAndre Jordan. You got Jared Allen. You have a nice core of players. It's just that is Kyrie gonna alienate everybody? Because they were building a camaraderie, and last year when he went there, they were in China, and they asked Kyrie, "Can you remove your hat for the team picture?" He said, "Nah, I'm not taking it off. Photoshop it out."
There you go. He's doing good. I like his style. He's killing it. This was supposed to be fun today. I feel like I got depressed on this show. and I didn't even get my. I got the press wrong. Let's switch it up, bro. Let's have some fun because this is a hard one. God damn. We're gonna next. I promise you for the few you cats that stuck around to listen to the end. Next week we're gonna go from. We're gonna try to find. We're gonna do the thing that I forget what that guy's name is. I don't want to ruin his name, but we're gonna have some happy news.
Oh,
We're
Mike.
it's not
The
Mike.
guy.
I think
The guy from The Office.
yeah. We're gonna Krasinski.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like all
Good
happy
news.
news. Yeah. But my good news is the NFL week 13 is upon us. I'm excited. We're gonna go through our games, our predictions, and who we think is the best player for you to play if he's on your lineup or on your bench.
Sure.
I'm gonna start right out the gate because I think this is the best one. Well, not the best one, but it hits home the most. The Arizona Cardinals come to New York to play the New York Giants. And my line is 2.5, but they said earlier it was probably 3. Some of the guys, put the hook there to get you you.
For sure.
So what do you got, buddy? I know you're a homer, so there's no way you don't take this is easy money for you.
I think I'm gonna take the Giants here to win. Right out. Like even I'll take the +3, but I think the Giants win this game. The defense is looking
spectacular, bro.
Spectacular.
Listen.
They made him look not human. They made him look like Brock Osweiler, and I'll take that. So I'm gonna go with G-Men to cover, and then my play is probably gonna be Evan Ingram.
All right, that's nice. All right, I'm gonna. Shit, this is so hard because I'm just like fudge. I was wondering where my gut is. Fuck it, I'm gonna stay with my gut. I'm gonna go with the G-Men. Also, I like the 2.5. I think the Cardinals don't win this game, but it's gonna be by 3. So I'm gonna take the 2.5 of the G-Men. And my guy, who was, I don't know if he got voted, but he was nominated as the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. I'm gonna take Gilman Jr. My man.
Okay,
it's just filthy. All right, what's the next game?
All right, we got Panthers at home versus the Broncos, and Panthers are -3.5.
Man, I don't know. The Broncos played pretty good defense against KC last week, but they just couldn't show that they were able to perform well. You said the Panthers are the home team, correct?
Correct.
I'm gonna take the Panthers. I think Teddy Bridgewater, hopefully this week gets this. I mean, again, DJ Moore is on the COVID list, so they down one receiver. Is the running back starting? Is Run DMC run? Is
no
running?
CMC is out.
Sorry, CMC.
You got Mike Davis still in there.
I like Davis a lot, so I'm gonna so screw it. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take the Panthers. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna take this kid Kirkpatrick. I think that's his name, the wide receiver for the Broncos. I think that he's coming up. Tim Patrick. Yeah, he's coming up because Jerry Jeudy. I don't know where you at, Jerry Jeudy. I can't find you. I see you all year on those commercials, but you don't catch no balls, Jerry Jeudy. So I'm gonna go with Patrick from Denver. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna take the Panthers to cover 2, and I'm gonna take Steady Teddy. I think they're at home. Makes no sense for them to lose this game.
Not at all. All right, so this game makes me a little nervous, only because of the point spread. But Tennessee goes to Jacksonville and plays the Jags, the Mike Glennon Jags. What you think? And the spread is Jags are +7.5. They were earlier at 9.5.
Yes, you got bet down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Titans to cover. I think 7.5 is perfect. I think the Jags are looking to stay in that number 2 spot on a draft, so I don't see them winning this game to fuck up those chances. Or the number 3 spot. I think they're like right around there.
They're close.
So I'm gonna take the Titans to cover, and then my player is gonna be Corey Davis. He showed up last week. I'm gonna stick with him this week.
Yeah, he was a beast. I think this is the game that they're gonna shine out again. King Henry, just ridiculously physical, 1 if not 2 running back in the league. I'm gonna take Henry as my player in this league because it just makes sense. Tannehill keeps burning me.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think you're right. I think that Jacksonville's playing to lose, and arguably they could be playing for Trevor too. No one's even talking about that.
For
Because if
sure.
the Jets win a game or two, the Jags are going to go to the bottom. Because I don't see the Jags winning another game for the rest of the season.
Okay, now we have, I think, a sneaky quiet game of the week. I think it's going to be a chess match this game. We got Chiefs on the road, -7.5 versus the Dolphins.
Ooh.
Who you got?
Ooh, 7.5. On the road too, right?
Yep.
I don't know. This is hard for me to pick because I'm picking emotionally. I'm just gonna take Patrick, and I you said 7.5.
Yep.
That's more than enough. I thought they came close to fucking it up against the Broncos, which by the way, I covered that game against the Chiefs, but they're just too good, man. I said it last show. Best quarterback, best wide receiver, best tight end, and arguably one of the best head coaches in the league. Your boy Bevel is just unbelievable the way he's drawing it up. They're not even playing all their guys. They got a bench of Le'Veon Bell and Hardman, and I mean they just got guys. They got guys after guys. They got Stone Cold Jones is unbelievable. Frank Clark is unbelievable. Matthias, and you know what's another thing that I think is a storyline that nobody's talking enough about? Steve Spagnuolo might be arguably one of the best defensive coordinators in the game.
Yep.
He wins 2 as a G-man against the best team in the league at the time, and then puts it together and has this team clicking. And again, I still don't think that Tua has really hit a wall as a rookie. This might be his wall because they're gonna be ball hawking him.
Who's your player?
So Tyreek Hill, the animal. And by the way, you picked him last week, and you should have came off for that. Tyreek should have had. I don't know if you watched the game. He should have had like 80 points, bro. He scored like 4 times, and they called it back on penalties. Fucking bullshit.
Yep.
So Tyreek is my guy, and I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover here. They're at home, and I think Brian Flores is going to tell his team, like, this is going to test us. This is going to be for the playoffs and where we are. This is going to be a test mark. They might not win the game, but I think they're going to keep it close. It's going to be, Myles Gaskins is back. I think Tua is going to get tested. But, like that defense, that Dolphins defense scores. For whatever reason, they get a scoop and score. They get a pick six. They get something going every week. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover, but I'm going to take Travis Kelce as my pick, my fantasy pick.
I like that. Let me see if I can follow you up with just as good as a good game. Actually, this game I like a lot. So Indy goes to LV to play the Raiders and Derek Carr. What are you thinking? And the spread is 2.5.
I like the Colts in this game just because the Raiders look so shitty against the Jets. And they've looking shaky the last 2 weeks. Even though they won last week, the week before that they lost. So I'm gonna take the Colts. The defense is playing lights out. And I'm gonna take the Colts defense here. I think they shut down the Raiders.
Wow. Ooh, this is gonna be a good game because we're totally going into different directions. So Colts D and Colts to
cover -3 Colts.
Yeah, got you done. All right, so I'm gonna go LV, and I think that this is the game that they not turn things around, but they show that they're still a 500 team. The Colts are going to be a tall test for them, but I think they can eke it out with the 2.5. Last week you could argue that they almost lost, but they almost lost. They didn't lose, and it showed a little bit of moxie. That the wide receiver was headsy down the field, kept it moving, and Derek Carr. At least, look, that's what I'm trying to buy. Okay, Derek Carr.
If that wasn't Trevor,
I know the DB was like, "I'm gonna stop running now.
Yep,
I need to be my new teammate." And I'm gonna take the tight end who I think is emerging as the top tight end in the league, Waller. He balled in that Jets game. So I'm gonna stick with him again, and I'm gonna take the Raiders to cover. I'm not 100%. Well, trust me, guys, we're getting better and better at this. But I definitely think that if Jacobs plays, this will be a different game because he didn't play last week, which was a large reason why they struggled against the Jets.
Okay, now we have Cowboys on the road versus the Bengals. The Cowboys are shockingly favored by 3.5.
I don't think so. Oh yeah. No. They're minus. They're not.
They're favored.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Damn. I hate when I read this thing and they set it up for me wrong. But all right, whatever the case is. So I'm gonna take Dallas, which is gonna be crazy. The only reason why I'm taking Dallas is because the Red Rifle goes back to Cincy, and I think there's gonna be a little bit of, hey, you guys traded me away. I could still play even though I play on a bummy team. Also, Cincy got nothing. I mean, They're playing quarterback less. But I think Dallas is starting to get it. I mean, they're having some boneheaded plays on defense, but I still like the relationship between Andy Dalton and CeeDee Lamb, or did I say his name right? CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yeah.
CeeDee is his first name, right? So CeeDee Lamb. So I'm gonna take CeeDee and I'm gonna take Dallas.
Okay, I'm gonna take Dallas as well. Shockingly, just
Right.
because there's no Joe Burrow. Like,
That's the whole team. Goodbye.
bye. So I'm gonna take the Cowboys to cover, and my player's gonna play Amari Cooper.
Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go to a not such a great game, and this is actually really weird for Chicago fans. So the Houston Texans play the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears fan base must always remember they passed on Watson in the draft to Mitch Trubisky. I have no idea what quarterback is playing. I know that the Ninja Khalil Mack is in there, but it ain't gonna be enough. I think this is a 1.5 game all day Texas. I think Deshaun Watson is gonna ball, and I'm gonna pick on a random note because they balled last time. I think that the combination of Will Fuller is gonna be cooking.
Well, he's
I'm gonna
out.
So
He's out. He has
I'll
PEDs.
take Deshaun. I'll take Deshaun. Deshaun is he just does magic. You know, the magician. Sean the magician Watson. That's what
Okay.
I'm going.
I'm gonna go with the Bears at home. I just think that defense is gonna show up. It is in Chicago and it's cold in New York, so I know it's probably gonna be brick in Chicago. So I'm gonna go with them. I like their defense, and I'm probably gonna go with. Let's go Allen Robinson as my fantasy pick.
Done. Okay. We still got a couple bad games here. Let me try to get something semi-interesting. This is actually going to be a really great game. The Pittsburgh Steelers play the Buffalo Bills, and it's 1. It's crazy, and they got walked back from 2.5.
Yep.
This is the game of the week, hands down, because this is playoffs. These two teams are stacked. What do you think?
Barring any crazy COVID sneaky injury that they know about that we don't know about right now, that it got bet down from 3-1, I'm gonna take the Bills at home to cover.
Yeah, that sounds right. Makes
I think
sense.
the Steelers. I know that they lost. The Steelers haven't been this dominant team, even though they're 11-1. They just won a lot of close games, a lot of them.
For sure, I watched it too.
So I'm
They
gonna
got a lot of lucky bounces.
So I'm gonna take the Bills to cover at home, and I'm gonna take Josh Allen.
Nice.
Who you got?
All right, I'm gonna go in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Steelers. I think that they arguably have the best defense in the league, even though numbers wise it might not be ranked like that. I think Minka Fitzpatrick best safety. I think TJ Watt is going to emerge as one of the best linebackers, if not one of the greatest linebackers of all time. I'm going to play this one safe. I'm going to take Juju because he's going to, at least if you're in a PPR league, he'll at least get you 10. If you're in a regular league, he's touchdown dependent. But I also think another sneaky play, I'll give you 2. I think Eric Ebron, if he's available, pick him up, or if he's on your roster, start him, because he's been quietly having a good season. He just drops a lot of passes, but he's also touchdown dependent.
Okay.
All right.
Let's keep the ball rolling. This game might be sneaky good. We got Vikings on the road versus the Bucks, and the Bucks are home.
This game, I think, is going to be great for fantasy purposes. I think both defenses are not going to show up. I think Tom really needs to come out and prove that they're going to win. I'm going to take, how much was the spread again?
6.5 for the Bucks.
And then Tom is at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take 6.5. I'm gonna take the home team only because they're coming off a bye. So they had a week to kind of retool, revisit, re-engineer it. You know, they get a full week off with everybody. I think Godwin, Brown, Gronk, Evans, all playing. I think that this might be the game that they air it out and really get it done. But I think Minnesota's a really good team too. So, but I'm just gonna say that Tom just starts scoring bananas, because if Kurt gets in trouble, Kurt has, you know what man Kurt does, bro, when things start to get bad. So,
all right, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. I'm gonna take the Vikings to cover. I think 6.5 is a lot. It's almost 7 points. The touchdown. Vikings have been bowling. It's a 1:00 afternoon game, so it's not prime time. So I'm not worried about Kurt being a baked potato. Bucks defense has not been looking that too good the last couple weeks. So I'm gonna take Kirk Cousins as my fantasy player with the Vikings to cover.
Okay, sounds good. We'll go to this one before you team me up for the next one. That's two. That's a terrible team. I'm gonna say this because this one's actually gonna be fun. The Atlanta Falcons come to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. It's a plus 2.5 for Los Angeles.
I don't even know what to think of this game.
Right.
To be honest, I wrote it down. I'm gonna go with the Chargers just because I have it written down. But both these teams suck. The Chargers are good. It just I think Anthony Lynn is fired at the end of the season. To be honest, I think he's out.
Okay. He's dead man walking.
Yeah, I think Chargers. I'm gonna take Chargers to win, and my fantasy play is gonna be Justin Herbert just because he's been playing fucking out of his mind.
Wonderful. I think he's phenomenal too. I would like to see what the rookie QB class is looking like. But when I think with Burrow down, he might be not a lock, but he's got to be up there. He's been playing great. His numbers are good. But then again, I'm going to take it in another direction. I like the Falcons. I've liked the Falcons all season. I don't know why they can't get out of their heads sometimes, but Matty Ice, Gage, Ridley, Jones are going to come to town and make it happen. I like it. I think the thing that makes me alarmed about this game is that it opened originally at -1 for the Chargers and got moved up, which means a lot of smart money is betting on Falcons. I'm going to take Falcons. And again, next show, that's why we're going to do the next show because it's the holiday season. Our fun shit, we're going to gush about our favorite players. And one of my favorite players who has emerged, I'm going with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley to me is a top 5 wide receiver. He's unbelievable. And, Julio Jones is no slouch. So they got a good receiving core, and that's what I'm going to bet on. And they kind of travel well. They don't really even they play terrible at home. The Falcons do.
Okay, we're gonna do the best team in the league. We got the Jets on the road versus the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks are -13.5.
Okay, first I want to go on the record. I've been on the record multiple times. The Jets are not going to win a game this season. They're not. They're going to join the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, and the Tampa Bay Bucks as the 4th team to not win a game in the whole season. It's a fact. I hope they don't get burnt by Trevor, but that's all said and done. It's going to be Seattle. Seattle's going to be fucking pissed. But this is the thing. It's 13.5. So I'm going to take the Jets to cover this.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the guy who every time I see this team, I want to play, I want to have on my team. I'm going to take Russ. I think Russ has a bounce back game. He got smacked by the G-Men. That's not happening.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm going against all conventional wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Seahawks to cover the spread.
Yeah, 19.5.
All right, I'm gonna take the 13.5. I just think Seattle has to bounce back. Even though my Giants are better than what people, have seen or projected or the record says, the Jets just don't want to win. They don't want to win. They call a full-out, all-out blitz against the Raiders just to make sure they take the number 1 spot. So I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I'm going to take DK Metcalf. I don't think anybody can hold them.
No.
On that, and the Jets just suck, and they're trying to get Trevor.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's got to be the easiest way to cut that up. I mean, it sucks. They almost won that game until they said somebody was like, "Yo, don't chase that guy." So I think does that cover us all the Sunday games? No, we got one more.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4.
We got 2 more, 3, 4. Then, so the New Orleans Saints head to Philadelphia to play Hearns and the Eagles. What you got? And it's a +7 is it has to be favored to the Saints. There's no way.
We have the Saints -7 versus the Eagles.
Oh, sorry, that's
Eagles
what
are home. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm gonna take the Saints to cover. No, fuck that. Yes, no, maybe. All right, I'm gonna take the Saints to cover. Just because the Eagles suck, and Jason Peters is officially on IR. He's done for the season. Mm-hmm. But my fantasy player is going to be sneaky. It's going to go with Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a sneaky good day just because he has to run.
Yeah, I was going to pick him up on waivers. I think he's probably the best waiver prospect if you're struggling. You're trying to – I mean, this week is playoff week for everybody in fantasy. So if you're looking for a spark, I like Hearns because they're going to be behind. They're going to air it out. I think that's what makes me nervous about this, but I still think the Saints, position by position, are better, and by coaches, they're better. So I'm going to take the Saints too. I think this smells like a blowout.
Yep.
I got to tell you this though, Taysom Hill, I'm watching you, Bo. You kind of know how to play football, cuz you kind of know how to sling the rock.
One of my gadget guy.
For sure. Very, very impressive, my dude. Impressive. You could run, you could throw. And Michael Thomas, no one's even talking about Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a beast getting thrown to like a 4th-string running back.
For sure. All right, now we have the Washington Sentinels on the road versus the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers are -3.
I'm going to take Skins all day on that. I've been like excited that Alex came back. I'm glad that 19 surgeries or however many it took to get him back onto the field was great. I think Gibson is good. I even think the backup running back is good. I told you, I love the coach. Everybody's doing good over there. They're checking all the boxes. I think they're hot. I think that this team is gonna be. Hopefully, Alex can play one more season until they can maybe find the quarterback. But I think the Skins with Alex behind the driver's seat, they're good. And their defense is better than people think. So I'm going to take them. And 3 is nothing. The Niners, who knows what Niner team shows up? It's either the Niner team defensively or the other team in the other way.
Gotcha.
And then what?
Wait, I didn't pick that. I didn't pick. We got the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers to cover -3. I'm gonna take them because I don't know, they're running the ball crazy, and I'm gonna take Mullins, the quarterback. I think he's gonna turn up.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, I had him on my thing. Earlier in the season he was playing better, but he just doesn't. I think his problem is that the inconsistency at the other positions. I think if he's had the same guys to play with all season, he would have been better. But yeah, I like that play with the Mullins.
Okay. We got the Packers.
Sorry, let me rewind it real back too. Whether it makes the cut or not, I'm taking Alex.
Okay.
That's my fantasy player. I forgot to put that one in there.
Okay, so we got Packers on the road versus the Detroit Lions. Packers are -7.5.
Bro, did anybody watch the Green Bay game last week? They smoked another professional team. They're gonna smoke this professional team. And I know it's a division game, and I know usually the Lions always have a hard time, but most of those Hail Mary bombs that Aaron Rodgers has been famous for has been on the Detroit Lions. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna hold on one sec. I'm gonna take Green Bay. I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers. If you're curious, if you need somebody else besides Aaron Rodgers, you take Adams. Again, top 5 wide receiver in the league, hands down. He proved that. He balled his ass off against Philadelphia.
Sure.
Like, you know what really got me crazy? I can't believe they paid that dude all that money as a defensive back and just got cooked. He just was a baked potato.
Yep.
Adam is, he could be, maybe the number 1 receiver in the whole league just because of his size and his speed. Because I would definitely put Tyreek there. I would put Metcalf there, but he's on another level. They're playing great. There's nothing that's going to stop them.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down that. I'm gonna take the Packers to cover. I think they blow them out, and I'm gonna take just A-Rod's running mate, Devontae Parker. I mean, Devontae Adams just makes no sense to not pick him.
A gazillion points.
Easy. Yeah, easy.
I'll tell you this: if you could afford it and you playing daily, I would stack them. I would stack Rodgers and fucking Adams, and then try to figure out how else you can manage the rest of that team because they're going to be expensive probably.
Now we got one more game.
Yeah, I got you, baby. The official tissue game of the week. This is gonna prove a lot of things to a lot of people, and I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy right now. This is gonna be. I'm gonna use your line. Unconventional. Okay, but I'm gonna ask you first. So the Baltimore Ravens head to their division rival, the Cleveland Browns, to play on Monday Night Football. What do you got?
Okay. I'm gonna go what I have written down.
Yeah, go ahead. Don't switch it up.
Even though with the new information that's coming out that Baker might be on the COVID list, they're not totally confirming it yet.
God damn it.
It's not 100%, but I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go with Browns to cover. Because I think anybody could step in because he's basically a game manager. He's not
let's not
He's
get
not
crazy.
lighting shit up.
Last
I'm
week.
gonna go with Browns to cover, and I'm gonna go with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is just playing out of his mind. Nobody can stop him. He's just a quiet dude who just fucking cars everybody up. That's all he does. And steps out of bounds at the 1 yard line.
Bro, he's an animal.
Yep.
Based on his success this season and coming back from the injury, he might be the number one running back in my mind because he's undersized in the sense of like compared to Henry. You know what I mean? He is just mowing fools down, whether he goes gloveless or gloves, because I know he likes to mix it up every once in a while. But absolute animal. And I agree with you. I think if Baker doesn't play, the way the team is running the ball.
Yep.
So they're not really, they cooked last week. Baker came out and sizzled fools. But let me see here. Oh, so this is great. It's a pick'em game by Vegas, so I definitely take Cleveland on this all day.
For sure.
Cleveland's at home, even if Baker doesn't play. I think if Baker plays, this is going to be a more interesting game. The problem is that Browns defense is suspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take. Yep. I'm going to go with. Okay, I'm going to take two because if he doesn't play, I'm going to take my man. I've been feeling Baker. I believe in my man Baker.
Yeah.
Baker. If he doesn't play, I'm going to take Kareem Hunt. Because I think that tandem is just unbelievable.
Your best 1-2 punch in the league.
Facts.
Well, that concludes all the picks, bro.
Yo, I know. Well, thank you guys. I don't know how many guys we got left back. Really quickly, who do we have? Did we get any interesting
we got Luis Ocasio. I'm assuming that's it. He said we were talking about some stuff. The people are hungry for power. The people are in the way. The money is ours. So we're talking about what the tax, the stimulus packages. That we need to operate legal, not the law, and we let them, like the government, we just let them do whatever they want. We got my guy Monkey D Warlock. He showed up. He says he hates Uber Eats prices. They're ridiculously expensive. And then we got Angel. My boy Angel came in. Large corporations don't favor your interest, regardless of your pandemic or not. My boy Ralph showed up. He just said you're from New York shit. And then my aunt showed up. She just said hello. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody. My guy Pretzel was here. Appreciate everybody who showed up and rocked out with us for the whole podcast. I appreciate all the love, all the support, and we'll be back at it again.
Yeah, thank you guys, everybody, for listening. I appreciate all the love. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure. Thank you, everybody, again. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live or when we post clips. All right? Thank you guys. Appreciate all the love, all the support. Have a good night.
Yes. Take it easy.